Hello, and welcome to The Hungry Lamb in the late Ming Dynasty. My name is Ming Dynasty, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know anything about this game. I saw that this game was bundled with Murders on the Yangtze River at one point, and I thought, what's this? So I clicked on the Steam page and saw that it actually had overwhelmingly positive reviews, which is, not exactly the most common for visual novels. So I was like, I'm kind of interested, because I don't know, it sounds pretty interesting. And once again, I don't really know much about this game, but I guess we'll check it out together. I'm just gonna look at the extra for now. Are there settings? It doesn't seem like there are any settings here. Flowchart. Okay, so it seems like there are a decent number of events, but this game is apparently not, what's the right word? Not very long. Okay, so there are probably Chinese, voices, but by the time I'm playing this game, I believe they've actually implemented Japanese voices. I can't read this word, so I'm gonna assume it's the audio language. Yes, so I'm gonna play with that because I'm more familiar with Japanese. And I'm gonna lower the master volume because it's a little bit loud and make the text speed much faster. But yeah, I guess I'll just go. So far the art looks pretty cool. Once again, I don't really know much about this game or anything at all, so let's head into it. Lang Prologue. Wolf, the year of I missed a year. That went by kind of quickly. I often wait, am I a guy or a girl? There are two characters in the front. I'll assume I'm the guy. I often ponder why my father named me Liang. The word Liang indicates Shan, virtue. The character Shan is in the shape of an open-mouthed sheep. Oh wait, I guess it was called the Hungry Lamb. Looking at it, you can imagine the sheep's cry. Perhaps if one is as gentle as a lamb, Liang suits him. Okay, so him. However, I refuse to see myself as a sheep. I am a wolf. From nearby, there came a rough voice inquiring. I glanced sideways, and a man approached from a distance. Step by step, he made his way, twigs and fallen leaves crunching. Sunlight streamed through the cracks in the woods, dappling everything, yet he adeptly hid himself in the shadows. Oh, okay. I sized him up. So this guy is apparently looking for Liang. Okay, well, I don't actually know when the Ming Dynasty is. If I actually got a good look at that year in the beginning, I'd probably have a better idea of the time period. That being said, I'm not gonna lie, for me personally, when I'm playing either Chinese or Japanese games, before a certain point, I just kind of get lost in the sauce in terms of the time period. I don't really know which dynasty is which, or which period is which. Like, anything before like the Showa period in Japan, I kind of get confused which one is which. Capped in a bamboo hat, clad in a raincoat, holding a gourd, he seems more like a fisherman than a menace at first glance. Such an appearance made it easy to let one's guard down, hence he was usually tasked with luring the sheep, and then I would do the butcher's job. Ooh. What is our main character's job? He sounds like he's in some really sus business. So his job is to trick people to following him, and our job is the butcher. Oh yeah. This fellow was another wolf accompanying me. His name was Shi Xing, but I prefer to call him Tongue. Okay, it seems like we had a job. Wait, okay, I guess we don't have a voice. Okay, perfect. Wrapped up, gave the sheep a stab when he wasn't looking. Buried. This is gonna be very awkward because I'm gonna be voicing a character, but every other voice is gonna be spoken in a different language. So I'm sorry if this is weird, but that's how it's gonna be. Buried him tight. No worries. 3,000 coins worth, 5 taels of silver plus 200 coins, rag clothes, and a pouch. I'll take 4 tails. You get the ragged clothes and the pouch is mine.
なんだって
Yeah, come on. You can give me some more money. Actually, I want to double check some of the stuff. So I'm not gonna lie, I was going to assume that the main character would have had a voice. Clearly, that is not the case. So yeah. This time there was just one sheep. I killed and buried him, so I deserve more.
わかった。それでいい。小袋はいくらで
Oh, are we bandits? I guess like we're working with Tongue. He's like trying to get people to come over and then we kind of rob and bury them. Yeah. Not much. It's just a common item.
見せてくれ。
Oh damn, he's like, let me take a look. I mean, that makes sense. He wants to see what you got for the job, right? Tongue wants to see the pouch. I reached into my waist bag and pulled it out for Tongue to see. The pouch was small enough to fit in one hand. Common sense would dictate that a sheep's pouch might contain a handkerchief or some checks, but it was empty. The pouch was red, sewn together with patches, yet it looked new, and was embroidered with the light-colored word An. I chuckled softly. How did the pouch end up with this embroidered word? Did the lamb name An? Oh, did the lamb's name contain An? Or did he wish safety from the pouch? Don't know what... I guess An means safety. If it's the latter, the pouch surely failed him.
本当にガラクタだ。いくらにもなりゃしねえ。
Okay, so...
お前にくれてやろう。
We clearly just killed a guy and we kind of robbed him. I'm still kind of wondering what that means. And whether or not this will play a part later on in the story. Maybe we're going to meet someone who is a relative of this person that we just killed. Clearly, the pouch with the character on is going to be significant.
なんでお前が羊毛を大事にするのかわからねえ。羊を始末するたびに羊毛を残して、いつか足がついて命がなくなるぞ。
You always take some wool every time you butcher a sheep. Huh. I'm just gonna double check. So this goes to the flowchart. Save data, load data, auto, skip, previous dialogue. Wonder if there's... Oh, cool. There's a way to get rid of the text so I can get thumbnails. Cool. No big deal. I give the pouch a squeeze and toss it into my waist pouch.
行くぞ。暗くならないうちに歌集で飯にしよう。
Tongue patted my shoulder, taking the lead.
りょう、今回はお前の分け前が多いんだ。お前のおごりだぞ。
Okay. I responded casually to Tongue, pressing my hand to my bamboo hat to softly lower it. Following Tongue's footsteps, I walked forward, each step accompanied by the crunch that leaves underfoot. It was fine not to pay attention to these sounds, but if you do, they could become quite loud. It was as if the bird chirps and the monkey cries had disappeared, and the whole forest was flooded with the crunches of trodden leaves. We, the two wolves, trotted across the desolate mountains and the wild ridges. Okay, so we're clearly having some wolf imagery, and the title's called The Hungry Lamb, so I guess, you know, wolves are commonly known to like hunt sheep and lamb, so I'm going to assume that the girl is going to be the lamb, but she's going to fight back. I think there's a lot of art with her having a knife. There's also a fairly young girl. I don't know how old, but she looked very small. Upon passing a tree with a sturdy, twisted trunk, I couldn't help but look closer. I knew it. Beneath the tree lay the sheep I butchered. Ooh hoo hoo hoo. Okay, year 1632. We're in chapter 1. Oh, it's bright. The sun hung high, almost blinding. Alright, I'm gonna look at the flowchart. Oh, okay. Wow, we're already 2% done with the story. Wow, that's real quick. But it seems like we're gonna have a choice here. So, choose specific option on Lang chapter 2. Enter Lang chapter 2. Oh! Oh, that's going to be interesting. That means we do something here, and then we can go here or here. Yeah, you know what? That's pretty cool. The sun hung high, almost blinding, but its rays lacked the slightest trace of warmth. I couldn't shake the memory of the sun from my childhood, so warm and inviting. Now it felt different. I'm just gonna like save every chapter just in case, because who knows if they have like autosave or not. Well, it seems like they do have autosave. Cool, cool. I couldn't shake the memory of the sun from my childhood, so warm and inviting. Now it felt different. Perhaps it was a sign of the fading dynasty, an era griped by misfortune, where even the daylight had grown cold. Perched on a boulder by an inn in Huangzhou, I empty the last drop from my flask. The fiery liqueur sears my throat, yet its warmth refreshes my stomach. In bygone days, I deem myself an unfortunate soul. However, in this year of calamity, savoring the fiery liqueur proved to be a rare stroke of luck. Oh man, he's like, hey, yeah, come on, we got some money now. A familiar voice rang in my ears. I glanced over and there was Tung standing behind me. Same old attire, bamboo hat, straw raincoat. He seemed like a fisherman. Tung's eyes gleamed, smiling at me, ready to spill some good news. So what's the job? I gave him a quick look, inquiring casually. Yin-san. So, okay, that's gonna be a name I think I'll probably have to remember. Who owns the inn. Okay, I guess we'll finally get to see what type of people lambs are. Are they just random people, like bystanders who get lured by Tung, or are they like specific targets?
そもそもこの子羊どもはインさんの仲間が送るはずだった。だが奴らは別のことで官兵に捕まったんだ。使える人間がいなくなって代わりに俺たちがやるってわけさ。
Man, they have like a society of these people. I won't handle lambs.
おい、勘違いするな。お前が子羊を殺さないのはもちろん分かってる。
Then what's the deal?
子羊どもを洛陽まで送るのさ。
Human trafficking? My heart sank. I finally got what Tung had been hinting at with his mysterious talk. Whenever he sought me out, it usually meant dark deeds like robbing and killing. This time, all secretive-like, turned out that he wanted us to do the trafficking, delivering some acquired lamps to Luo Yang for a good price.
誘拐？人聞きの悪いこと言うな。子羊は俺たちが捕まえたんじゃない。誘拐とは言えないさ。
You're literally doing the trafficking part of human trafficking.
でも、そっちの方がむしろ分かりやすいな。
It's gonna be like, more for me.
知っての通り、インさんのやつはいつも俺たちに追いはぎの仕事を紹介してくれる。だが、やつの本業は人身売買なんだ。
Okay, so Yin-san is a man, and he's the person who's heading a lot of these operations. Ew, with human trafficking. I guess this was 1600s where that definitely happened a lot.
確かに、やつが調達した子羊を洛陽に送る仕事だが、何も悪いことじゃない。いいことなんだ。
We're doing the good human trafficking. We're not hurting them. We're just delivering them. Man, he's gonna die in this story, I'm pretty sure. How's human trafficking a good deed? I frowned and almost didn't want to hear Tung talk anymore.
もちろんいいことさ。
Of course,
とりあえず
kid.
話を聞いてくれ。りょう、ここ数年は各地で大干ばつだ。多くの羊が餓死した。それでもうすぐ飢え死にしそうなやつが、そいつらのうちの子羊をインさんに売って金や食料と引き換えた。
That did happen in the past too. Families who didn't have enough money would sell their children or other family members in order to get enough money to survive. It's really sad that that is a thing, but it used to be a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing, to be honest, in some of the less fortunate countries. But yeah.
洛陽には金持ちの羊がいるらしい。金は持ってるが、子羊を産めない。それで貧しい地方から引き取って飼いたいのさ。
Dude, it's like, you see, there's some people who are trying to help these lost lambs who are sold by the families. Yeah, just help.
考えてもみろ。貧しいうちの子羊どもはいずれ飢え死にする。だから俺たちが金持ちのところに送ってやるのさ。
That was how human traffickers tried to justify their actions.
そうすれば親どもは飢え死にせずに済むし、子羊も腹いっぱい食える。みんなが幸せってわけだ。俺たちはいいことをしてるんだぜ。 正直に言うと子羊1匹で100両、4匹で400両。
That is how
半分
math
ず
works,
つ山
yes.
分けだ。これで数年は衣食に困らないぞ。ぐずぐずしやがって。さっさと決めろ。お前がやらないならこの美味しい仕事は他のやつに頼むからな。こいつは腕前の問題じゃない。一人で二人分。
He's like, you're capable. I'm not sure if I am. I want you to do the work. Actually, is there a... Okay, there is a log. Cool. Just wanted to confirm. Get a good sense of the UI. Hold on. It called out the tongue. When do the lambs need delivering?
早い方がいい。俺は今日見に行く。
Fine. I'll join you. I rose, brushing off dust. Tongue laughed, leading the way. Tongue said a few words, managing to convince me. Maybe it was a promise of no worries about food or clothing, or perhaps the idea of doing good deeds that swayed me. Anyway, I'm gonna go along with Tongue's plan to see what's up. Alright, time to human Oh, what the
お
fuck?
やお二人さん、やっと来てくれたか。早く座ってくれ。
Yes, this person does not look suspicious at all. Holy crap.
やいワンコ、どこに目をつけてやがる。早く二人に酒を出さんか。
Just arrived at the inn with Tongue, and Yin-san greeted us with flattery. Guiding us to our seats at the inn, he scolded his workers to bring us drinks. The sudden shift in behavior made me wonder if he was just acting. I stayed standing, eyes fixed on Yin-san, my mind wandering into some interesting scenarios. Possibly from my childhood love for shadow plays, whenever I meet someone, their animal form pops into my head. Oh. Most are sheep. Tongue and I are wolves. Yeah, he did call himself a wolf several times. And Yin-san, is he gonna be a rat or a fox? Yin-san, yeah. Yin-san, though, comes across as a fox, known for being very conniving. This fox's lair was the inn in the North Huazhou, North Huazhou. No guests came, and it's closed all year. This inn was a cover. He used it for his business dealings. There's a higher up he answers to. Oh, he's not the head, okay. The big boss hands down missions, and he passes them on to us. Back then, the jobs we pulled for him were about hitting caravans. He'd tip us off on a sweet haul, and we go in. Okay, so yeah, they basically were bandits. This time, it's a bit different. A job involving human trafficking. Whatever the job, we met up in this inn most of the time.
インさん、来たぜ。寮を受けてもいいと言った。
So Liang in Japanese, I guess, is Ryo. Okay, I'll have to remember that. Who says I'm in? I haven't committed.
決めてない？寮の旦那、決めてもらわんと困りますよ。腕がいいし、河の旦那とも息が合うから、この仕事には寮の旦那が欠かせない。
Okay, so we're friends with the higher up. Maybe it's because we do it. We're not actually. I don't know if we're actually friends, but at the very least, we do have some kind of relationship with the higher up. Interesting.
誘拐なんてしたことがないのも、やりたくないのも分かってる。でも、本当に心配は無用だ。今度の仕事は子羊を運ぶだけ。子羊がどこから来てどこへ行くのか、あんたらには関係ないことさ。それにぶっちゃけた話、今回子羊を引き取るのはかなりの権力者らしい。何かあったところで、お上も手を出せないってことさ。
The person has a lot of power. Huh.
それに、今はこんな乱世だ。お上なんて何の役にも立ちゃしねえ。河野旦那、そうでしょ？
そうさ、お上なんてクソくらいだ。千の地のあちこちで反乱が起きてる。金に汚いか、金を隠し持ってるやつばかりさ。俺たちに構ってる暇なんてあるか。
Hold up. So I kind of forgot. What was Tongue's name? No, okay. When he said Master Shin, I thought he was talking about his own boss, but no, he was talking about Tongue. I didn't realize this, but he refers to us and Tongue as Master. So we don't actually know his boss. We just know he just knows us two. Okay, cool. Yin-san explained to me, relying on Tongue backing him up at the same time. Tongue chugged half a cup of hot wine, backing Yin-san and shooting me winks. No worries about food and clothing, doing good deeds, and times are chaotic. They kept echoing in my mind, challenging my principles. Now, do I dive into this job or think twice? Ooh, okay, we do have choices. Cool, I guess I'll have to save every time I make a choice. I'm gonna scope out the lambs first because I feel like accepting the job is going to lead to what I believe would be the story. I'll take a look at the lambs first and decide after. I said slowly to Yin-san and Tung.
わかりました。寮の旦那が子羊をご覧になる。
Alright,
これは面白くなってきたぞ。
gonna double check this. Okay. Oh, it only occurs when we go to the next scene. Okay.
おい、ワンコ！子羊を連れてこい！
Yin-san shouted, his voice echoing. The inn's waiter nodded, hurriedly towards the back door. The lambs were brought up, tied with hemp rope around their waists, linked together to stop any escape. Some softly cried, and others trembled, nudged into a line by the inn's waiter, standing in front of me. I kept quiet, scanning the lambs. The first sheep. The second sheep. The leftmost lamb and the second one. They must know each other. I guess maybe a family sold 2 of their kids, staying close, their elder guarding the younger. Probably sisters, both pretty young. I forget the older sister was 9, the younger one was 6. Both sported worn-out clothing, dark complexions, and rugged, disheveled faces. Their slender frames hinted at a poor background. Glancing at them, the older sister, scared, yet putting on a brave front, defiantly locked eyes with me while the younger one shied away, too afraid to speak. Maybe the older sister aimed to protect the younger one and viewed me as a threat. Okay, number 3. The third sheep. The third lamb stood out from the first 2. Probably of school age, she wore old clothes, was small, but had much fairer skin than the first 2 lambs. She bowed her head in fear, hesitant to speak, yet her upright stance hinted at an unusual background. Brought the 2 on the left, the third snatch? Oh, I see. He's saying that because the first two quote-unquote lambs were poor, so they were most likely sold. The last one, it seemed like they probably weren't sold, so they had to be kidnapped. I casually asked Yin-san, laying out my judgment.
寮の旦那は鋭い。実を言うと、その通りでさ。左の、この2匹は姉妹で、近くの貧しい山の出身です。今、どこも飢えていて、こいつの家も娘を売って、息子を食わせる金にしたんでさ。
Oh, yeah. I hate to say this, and it's also applicable now, but like, I know at the very least in China, men were viewed as like superior to women. So that's why when they had like the one-child policy, a lot of times they would try their best. Couples would try their best to have a boy instead of a girl. Oh man. Yin-san spoke slowly, and as he did, I shifted my attention to the 2 lambs, keeping an eye on their reactions. After hearing that, the younger sister stood there, seeming a bit lost. The older sister, with teary-eyed, looked on the verge of crying. It seemed what Yin-san said was true.
3匹目は、それなりの身分で、確かにさらってきたやつです。
Won't that lead to some problems? Wouldn't their family look for her if she's from a good family? Snatched? Is it safe?
完全に決まってる。でなきゃ送り出せないでしょ。
No way snatched ones are safe, especially when this lamb seems to come from a decent family. I hushed my tone and spoke icily to Yin-san.
事情があるんです。寮の旦那、落ち着いてください。
I'm glad he brought that up because that's exactly what I was thinking. Yin-san chuckled awkwardly in response to my words.
こっちで話しましょう。
Yin-san pulled me aside a bit, trying to stay clear of that lamb. Wait, we're supposed to have at least 4 because I remember Tung was like, hey, if we do like 4, then we get this much money, which will last us a long time.
寮の旦那、この子羊は事情がありましてね。調べたところ、名家の生まれですが、さらっても危険はありません。
Oh. Why? When does trafficking a noble young lady become risk-free? Aren't you worried that her family might report this to the government?
通報？大丈夫。こいつの家は今それどころじゃない。探しはしませんよ。
Is it war-related stuff? Wait, what happened?
こいつの言えばね、かつて円徳氏と親戚同然の付き合いがあった。
General Yuan.
円徳氏は知ってるでしょ。ワンスイへの怒りを買って八つ咲きにされ、一族老頭皆殺しですよ。
I forgot that was also a thing. Sins of the father? Yeah, fuck that. We're gonna kill everyone.
徳氏の死後、こいつの家も巻き添えを食らった。殺された者、追放された者、身分を剥奪された者、帰る家もなくなった。
I kept quiet. If Yinsan's words were true, no one would bother about the lamb of this family lost. Even in times of peace and prosperity, the offspring of condemned officials were disregarded, let alone in times of turmoil. Fine, I'll give the last lamb a look. I nodded, leaving the matter of the third lamb behind, and turned my attention to the last one. This guy seems kind of derpy. The fourth sheep. Oh, wait, I can already see what's gonna happen. I wonder if the family sold him because maybe he has a mental illness that they didn't really know about. Thought he was useless. The fourth young lamb is a young boy. Huh, he looks like the oldest, tall, only a head shorter than me. Oh, really? Hunched awkwardly, tilting his head. He anxiously looked around, his gaze dodgy and elusive.
インさん、この羊は様子がおかしい。頭の病気か？
Tongue frowned, studying the fourth lamb before him.
そう、確かに頭の病気ですな。
I think they literally said mental illness, like the head sickness.
小さい頃に熱にやられて頭がいかれたのか？
いや、生まれつきのようです。この子羊は小さい頃からこうで、家では弥勒菩薩の生まれ変わりとして育てられました。
Okay.
後に飢饉に見舞われ、家が貧しくなると、母親がうちに売り飛ばしたんです。
Upon hearing the word mom, the fourth lamb got agitated, staring intently and yelling, "Mom!" loudly. Seeing this, the other lambs seemed to think of their own moms too. Eyes tear up, quietly sobbing. Maybe for these lambs, feelings spread like laughter.
インさん、ヒヨはこの子羊を欲しがってるのか？
He's like, I know you're making us transport goods, but are you sure one of these ain't defective? Tongue asked with a mocking tone, a hint of anger emerging in his voice.
さあね、あの家でも弥勒菩薩の生まれ変わりと思って育てたいんでしょう。落葉のあのお宅は娘がいいと言うけれど、引き取れる男のガキは娘よりも随分少ない。こういうのしかいないんです。
ダメだ。こんなのダメに決まってる。
なんでダメなんですか？
まず俺がヒヨだったら、こんな子羊を欲しがるわけがない。運ぶのはごめんだね。弥勒菩薩なんて厄介だ。俺も亮も途中でカッとなってこいつをやっちまうかもしれないぞ。
He's like, man, if this boy is slow and he's not gonna follow directions, he's gonna be annoying to like bring him along, and then we're gonna freaking kill him.
河野旦那、頭を冷やしてくれませんか？こいつは費用が欲しがってるんだ。一匹足りなければその金はもらえない。それどころかこっちが金を払わされる。
じゃあなおさら嫌だね。こんなイカれたのは手に負えない。
Damn, Tongue's like, yeah, I'm not gonna deal with this extra shit. I'm out.
俺たちには無理だ。こいつが途中で騒いだら官兵や盗賊に気づかれる。そうなったらおしまいだ。
Tongue's not wrong, actually. Agreed. I sided with Tongue. This lamb was too hard to handle. It might stir up troubles.
はいはい、断られると思ってました。だったらちょうどいい。私もあの人が男のガキを気に入らないんじゃないかと思って。こんな太ったのでもダメなんです。おそらく返品でしょう。おい、ワンコ、やっぱりあの子羊を連れてこい。
The hungry lamb. That lamb? I furrowed my brow, puzzled by Yinsan's words. Oh, yeah, that's the girl on the cover. Before long, the waiter returned with another lamb, the fifth sheep. The lamb stepped out from the backyard, immediately catching my eye. Appeared to be around 10, or in the early years of schooling. Donned in worn-out clothes, her skin neither dark nor particularly fair. Quite slender, my first takeaway from observing her. She had a small frame, clothing tightly wrapped around her, revealing a protruding bones at her wrist, and a thin fabric outlined her bones. Her hair was pitch black, while her eyes had an unusually deep blue hue. This lamb appeared delicate. If she were a bit plumpier, perhaps she'd be a beauty in the making.
この子羊は上玉だ。
Tom's like, yeah, we got a deal
この菩薩は
now.
正直ブサイクだがね。
そんなことは上物を取り揃えておりますよ。寮の旦那はどう思いますか？
I don't mind how the lambs look, but I'm curious why she isn't tied up like the others. I noticed that the last lamb wasn't tied up with a rope around her waist. Curiously, I asked Yin-san.
ああ、こいつは他の子羊と違って縛らなくていいんです。
You trust her?
大丈夫ですよ。こいつは売られたんでもさらわれたんでもありません。飢饉を逃れて自分からやってきたんです。
That's interesting. She basically offered herself up to slavery. I do know that there are some situations where some people would do that because it's kind of like trying to make yourself go to jail to avoid like homelessness, because at the very least in jail you're fed and you have a place to sleep, while the alternative is like I have nothing, I don't have a home, no money, no food. Some people actually consider doing that. So maybe it's a similar case. I'm still in chapter 1. Gotcha.
こいつが来たのは先月のことでした。調教されていたようで、飯さえ食わせれば何だってやるんです。
So it's a month ago, okay?
はあ、私ももったいないとは思いますが、あの弥勒菩薩を気に入らないのなら、こいつを代わりにどうぞ。
I'm kind of curious
ちょうど
because
彼女は洛陽にも行きたがってた。
previously I had the choice to basically like observe the lambs, or to basically just say okay. If I said okay, would I have taken the quote-unquote Buddha?
こいつは口が聞けないが、
He's mute?
物分かりが良くてあまり泣きません。飯が食える場所に連れて行くと言ったら、きっとついていきますよ。
Okay, I know that's a lie. Mainly because, actually, it could not be a lie, but I bought this game like kind of a while ago, and they had like updates, notably one being the one for the Japanese dub, and I noticed that she actually had a voice actress, so at the very least, it's also a very famous voice actress. I'm not gonna say who yet, but yeah, she's definitely gonna have some lines, or else you wouldn't pay big bucks for her.
あのな、インさん。お前んとこの子羊はもっとマシなのはいねえのか？
口が聞けないのがどうしたと？お二人さん、正直あの客と頭数を揃える約束さえなければ、こいつを手放したりしたくないんですよ。信じてください。口は聞けなくても、大人になったらきっと高値で売れるはず。
耳は問題ないのか？
ありません。
なら都合がいい。
Tung nodded, agreeing with Yin-san's idea. Having this girl along would be easier than dealing with the boy's issues. I agreed with that, but I wanted more details. Yin-san, how old are these lambs and what are their names? I asked Yin-san.
左の姉妹は9歳と6歳。名は浩二と水二。
Oh, I guess we nailed it. Hong-er and Kui-er. They had different names in Japanese, but that's how it is.
3匹目は慶花、9歳。
Qianghua.
最後の子羊は口が聞けず字も読めない。だから名前はわかりません。口なしとでも呼べばいい。
That's interesting. I feel like that just because she's such a titular character, pretty much, I'm pretty sure she's the quote-unquote hungry lamb. I'm pretty sure that she's going to be a lot more capable than she's displaying herself at the moment.
ああ、
Little mute.
年はわかりますよ。9歳かどうか聞いたらうなずいたんで、多分9歳でしょう。
9 years old, okay. No name. 9 years old. Mute. I look again at the lost lamb brought in as backup. Hello. This time she looked up and met my gaze. Surprisingly, she didn't shy away like the other lambs. She stared at me quietly. Her deep blue hues reflected my image. A faint moisture seems to be layered over her eyes. Maybe it was just my imagination. Strangely, during that brief eye contact, a peculiar thought crossed my mind. She stood out as the only one amongst the children who didn't resemble a lamb. A cat. She appeared to be a cat. Ah, next chapter? Yang chapter 2. Speak. Okay. Alright, we are introduced to some of these characters. I'm currently down here. Alright, I'm going to make a save state and see what happens if I had just accepted the terms initially. Okay, ready to accept the job. Ugh, fine, I'll accept it, but I gotta see the lambs first. I said slowly to Yin, San, and Tung. Okay, I guess it's gonna be leading to the same thing. I'll just proceed a little bit. Their faces lit up with the bigger smiles than when I agreed.
亮の旦那、やってくれると思ってましたぜ。この世に金で動かない奴はいねえ。おい、ワンコ、子羊を連れてこい。
Alright, this part should be the same. Okay, lambs were brought up, and they didn't escape. So if I hold this, will it skip? No, okay, it leads into the same thing. Okay, back to chapter 2. So I'm currently here. Choose it. Oh, well, my bad. I thought that this cat event would lead into this or this, but it's actually here leading to up or right. So I see. So now in this chapter, we have a choice. I agreed to Yin-san's job. After that, Tung and I spent a night at Yin-san's inn. Actually, on the thing, how far? We're 5.29% already done. The next morning, I tidied up my attire, wiped down my sword, and sheathed it. Before we hit the road, Yin-san got us 2 pack horses for the journey. Can't ride them, but they're perfect for carrying our stuff. To avoid checks on the main road, we'll be taking a lot of mountain paths. Those trails aren't good for wagons, but pack horses will work. The inn was in the remote spot, and very few people were around, especially in the early morning. Tung and I stood by the inn, estimating how much time our job would take, and planning what things to bring along.
賀州から洛陽まで600里の道のりだ。1日50里でも半月はかかる。
200 miles, that's quite a distance. 15 miles a day, it's still half a month. Okay, we'll be with these people for like 2 weeks. I can't reckon it that way. With the lambs, we'll make at most half a dozen miles a day. Ooh, so 6 miles a day would mean pretty much like 35 days or 34. Let me do my math real quick. 33 to 34 days. Taking detours will extend the distance, if anything.
じゃあ30日分の食料と水を用意しよう。今はどこも飢饉だ。食料にも随分金がかかる。
Pack light for now. Buy provisions on the road. Head east. Fewer folks fleeing. Cheaper grub.
よし。山の中で腹が減って動けなくなったら子羊を食らうとしよう。
Oh, Jesus. Are we gonna actually lead into cannibalism? Tung grinned and cracked a joke. I just shrugged it off and didn't say anything. Time to roll. I'll fetch them. I tossed a quick word to Tung, grabbed my blade, and headed straight into the inn to call the lambs. I woke up the lambs and took them outside. 3 had ropes around their waists, tied together. The mute one, without a rope, bounced around strangely.
りょう、口なしも一緒に縛っとくか。インさんのやつはこいつは自分が行きたいから逃げる心配はないと言ったが、こんなに走り回られては俺は安心できない。
Yeah, makes sense. I nodded and went to the saddle, found the rope in the bag. I connected the new rope to the third lambs, tie a knot, and went over to the mute girl with the other end of the new rope. The mute girl surely caught wind of our talk. She peeked at me and then turned away. Though she didn't look at me directly, she stood tall, arms raised on both sides. I didn't say anything, just stood behind her, head down. I took the rope, looped it twice around her waist, and tied a knot at her back. As I wrapped the rope, I could feel how skinny she was. The rope around her waist was only half an arm's length. So thin. After that, I double-checked the ropes on the lamb and then tied the rope's end to the pack horse. These knots were really tight, so unless they had something sharp, it'd be tough for them to untie. Even if they tried to cut the ropes, it would take time. Tung and I would keep watch, making it tricky for the lambs to get the chance. When I tied the ropes around the little mute's waist, she went along with it, didn't put up a fight at all. She did seem as sensible as Yin-san said. Wow, okay.
Oi, ガキども。よく聞け。今から出発だ。
She's definitely someone who seems like she's doing this voluntarily. Huh, what's her deal?
道中、俺のことはコウ様。あいつは亮様と呼ぶんだ。1、2ヶ月の旅になるが、腹いっぱい食えるところに連れて行ってやるから。町を出たら東に進む。山道が多いぞ。1日に20里でいい。毎日そんなに歩くものではない。食料は用意してある。これからは1日に2食だ。昼に1食、夕方に1食。たくさん食っとけよ。腹減ったとかわめくんじゃねえぞ。歩きながらの死後は禁止だ。泣くのも許さねえ。破ったら1日飯抜きだ。
I mean, he's a hard ass, but those are the resources we have, and we have to establish rules.
途中で逃げようなんて考えるなよ。逃げたら100叩きの刑だ。叩き終わったら俺が皮を剥がして食ってやるからな。
I'm a eat ya. Tung, all red-faced and loud, introduced himself to the lambs and said his rules. While he talked, he pulled out a switch from his bag and waved it in the air, showing it to the lamb. The young lambs couldn't hide their feelings well at that. When they heard about a place with lots to eat and drink, their eyes got big. But when they heard about "I'll strip your skin and have a feast," they all got scared and huddled up. Especially that refined lamb named Xianghua. When Tung waved his switch, she got so scared that her legs shook, almost falling down. Tung always liked seeing. Oh damn it! Oh my god! Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I heard that this game was gonna be good, at least from Steam reviews, but the beginning it's kind of hard to go through because it is very uncomfortable. Tung always liked to see his lamb scared because of him. He glanced at the frightened Qianghua, a playful smile on his face. Don't dawdle. Time to go. I told Tung not to overdo it and pay attention to the time.
よし、出発だ!
Let's roll! Tung turned around and yelled at the lambs once more. His shout made the lambs shiver. He chuckled, licked his lips, and led the way forward. We followed Yin-san's chosen path to leave the city. Outside, we head east along the planned route. To steer clear of the main road, we had to go through the footholds of the Tuhua Mountain area. First, we crossed the Shaohua Mountain, and then Mount Huashan, and after that, we'd reach Tongguan, where Yin-san had set up a place for us to stay. The mountainous journey would take 4 to 8 days. Tung and I knew this part around the Tuhua Mountain area well enough to avoid the bandits. But with wild beasts in the mountains, can't be too careless. We walked through the Shaohua Mountain. We didn't speak along the way. All we saw were endless trees, dirt, and rocks. All we heard were hooves, insects, and footsteps. After about 2 hours, Tung suddenly started talking to me.
おい、りょう、グッコって知ってるか?
Tiger herd? What? Tiger herd?
知らんのか。軍子とは群れをなす虎のことさ。普通、虎ってのは一匹狼なんだ。
Well, you know, I should expect that. It's literally a herd of tigers.
数年前、仙北が飢饉に見舞われ、大勢が東に逃げた。ところがみんな山で虎に食われたんだ。虎はたくさん人を食って、たくさんの子を産んだ。2年もすると虎の群れができた。
Oh.
りょう、もし虎が10何匹もやってきたら、 俺たちは生き残れると思うか？
I know I'll survive. Fuck you. I'll leave you to die. Doubt it.
はは、そうとも限らん。俺たちには刀がある。虎に出くわしたら、俺が子羊どもを切って血の海にする。
He's like, yeah, if we see tigers, fuck the job. Diversion, go.
虎は血や肉を見たら、刀を持った俺たちではなく、子羊に襲いかかるだろう。その隙に逃げるんだ。
Tongue burst into laughter, cranking up his voice in the last two sentences. I knew he was doing it on purpose, trying to let the lambs behind us hear. Man, you seem to be enjoying frightening these lambs, huh? Is that fun? I threw a cold remark at Tongue.
楽しいさ。
Tongue chuckled, dagger slung over his shoulder, moving forward. I glanced back at the lambs. The three of them were scared white by Tongue's words. The mute one just lowered her head, lost in thought. Was she not afraid of tigers? Around noon, after walking for about 4 hours, we took a break for an hour. Tongue had some grub first, then said he wanted a quick nap and dozed off against a tree. After that, I handed out food to the lambs, giving each one a serving of dried rations and half a pot of water. The hungry lambs quickly started munching on the food and shared the water. As I munched on my own ration, I kept an eye on them. The two darker-skinned lambs, Hong-er and Kui-er, if I remember right, ate pretty fast and finished quickly. Hong-er was an older sister, and she looked after her younger sister, giving her more water. She only took a tiny sip herself. The well-bred girl who got snatched was still kinda scared. She took the grub really carefully, eyes wide open, like she thought I might stab her while she was grabbing a bite. Surprisingly, even though she was a kidnapped mist, she didn't complain about the grub and finished it all. Not sure if Yin-san did a good job training her after the snatch, or she figured out how things are now. While eating, her eyes got teary, and I figured she's thinking about something. It's easier for poor folks to handle a rich life, but rich folk struggle in poverty. Probably hits the lambs harder, like her hard. And we have the cat. Did I click the wrong button? Oh. Sometimes I can't see the ... because the text box kind of blends. Yeah, besides watching those three lambs, I also kept an eye on the mute girl. She chowed down on her grub, eating really quick. Look away for a sec and she polished off everything like she hasn't eaten in forever.
Ryo-sama.
Hong-er was one of the two sisters. I think she was the older one. While I was watching the mute girl, a lamb's voice suddenly reached my ears. Yep. I think it was Hong-er and Kui-er. Okay. The sister named Hong-er lifted her arm, shyly calling me, not quite used to saying my name. What's up? I stood up, furrowing my brow, and asked her.
妹が用を足したくて、もう我慢できない。
Hong-er told me a bit awkwardly. I turned to look at her younger sister. Kui-er's face turned really red. She hunched over, holding her legs, like Hong-er said. Eat, drink, pee, poop were constants of human life. We had been on the road for a while, so these lambs probably needed a break. Since Tongue didn't cover the rules about relieving themselves, they might have been holding it in until now. Sure, if anyone needs to go, just do it on the spot. I looked at them and casually announced my solution.
りょうさま、いけません。
Why not? The lamb called Qiong-hua. I don't know why that name is making me struggle. Qiong, I'll have to remember that. Qiong-hua seemed uneasy about my suggestion to do it on the spot. She looked at me awkwardly and then glanced nervously at Tongue, who was resting under a nearby tree. Her eyes showed worry and discomfort. Oh, they're not embarrassed, but they're afraid that it's gonna make Tongue unhappy and he's gonna kill them. While I wasn't entirely sure of her thoughts, I could guess. Maybe she was concerned that if Tongue woke up and saw them relieve themselves, he might find a reason to punish them. Or she might be hinting that, being a girl amongst guys, she didn't want to do it in front of men. I leaned more towards the first one. After all, these young kids were still a few years from being away from being adults, so such concern shouldn't bother them. Alright, follow me with the ropes. We'll head to a spot behind those trees, line up and take care of it there. I shared the plan and went to the pack horses, undoing the tied ropes. Holding the ropes, I guide each lamb. We pass the sleeping tongue and going towards a cluster of trees a bit away. I let the lambs to relieve themselves. When they came back, Tongue was still asleep. The lambs took a short nap. I stayed awake, keeping an eye on them and the surroundings. After lunch, we resumed our journey. We walked for 4 or 5 hours around the foot of Xiaohua Mountain. Thankfully, we didn't run into any beasts or the tiger herd Tongue mentioned. Kui stumbled along the way, almost falling. Luckily, the rope tied around her waist and being close to her sister kept her from hitting the ground. Damn, this is gonna be like a roller coaster. Whoa. The silver moon shone bright and the stars scattered across the sky. Soft clouds moved slowly and insects made a racket. Night made it hard to see, so we decided to find a campsite at dusk, resting until dawn before hitting the road again. We've been through these mountains a lot, found a good mountain lake for camp as dusk settles in. The lake was good for water and washing, and the conditions were decent. Tongue set up camp and I made a fire. He unloaded tools from the pack horse, gathered some dry straw nearby, and set up makeshift bedding. I grabbed a bundle of firewood and took out the fire starting tools from the pack. With a fire striker in one hand and a piece of flint in the other, I struck the flint hard, producing sparks. I swiftly brought the flint near the tinder, and after a few attempts, a flame finally caught on the tinder. I kind of wonder why they had to go into such detail about starting the fire. The flames quickly spread from the tinder to the firewood, forming a blazing campfire. You know, despite being what I believe is probably an indie game, the art is actually fairly good. That being said, I guess, you know, the UI isn't exactly the most pleasant, and it's not bad. It's just very basic. But yeah, I don't think there are actually too many problems so far. So that's good. The campfire served as a warning for nearby beasts and provided us with light and warmth. The youngest, Kui happily sat down and got close to the blazing fire. She reached out her hands to feel the warmth of the campfire. Seeing Kui do this, the other lambs first checked our expressions, making sure we weren't mad, and then also gathered around the campfire.
りょう、火を起こすのがうまいな。
Oh, okay.
火が怖いんじゃなかったか?
That's the reason. So we have this conversation about making fires and Liang's previous fears of fire. Just done with his work, Tongue joined us by the campfire. He brought up my old story. Well, I used to be scared of fire due to a past memory of a disaster. Was scared before, not now.
そいつはよかった。お前は火を怖がるから、次の殺人放火にはお前を連れて行かないつもりだった。
Oh man, solely professional question, you know. Tongue scared the lambs with his words again, but I didn't feel like continuing the talk. And honestly, when you have to deal with someone, you don't resort to arson. Well, you don't need to.
それで死にそうだ。子羊が逃げる心配さえなければ、奴らに薪を拾わせて寝床を作らせるところだ。りょう、昼は休ませてもらった。お前は2時間ほど眠るといい。2時間したら俺と交代だ。
You know, despite being like, I mean, I guess it fits the time period, but despite Tongue being like an absolute piece of shit, so far he's actually been fairly professional. He's been like, yeah, these are the rules. This is what we're gonna do. This is a split, and we need to like basically share the rest time because, you know, that's how it works. And I've already taken my rest, so it's your turn. So far he's been very professional about the job so far. It really shows his experience, him and Liang's relationship as well. All right, I nodded and settled down by the campfire. A gentle breeze passed by, making the campfire flames sway like thorn red ribbons in the air. The fire's glow revealed the faces of the lambs, who remained still, perhaps fearing punishment. Yet their shadows had already adjusted to the surroundings. With the flickering firelight, those shadows danced freely, and the crackling of burning wood added a lively tune to their performance. The scene in front of me brought back memories of a shadow plays I enjoyed during my childhood. Oh yeah, he mentioned shadow plays before. When he was talking about how he likes to imagine people as animals. I guess he was a natural born furry. Feeling a bit drowsy while lost in thought of shadow play, I ended up dozing off. Guess I'll sleep first. With Tongue watching over the lambs, no need to fret. Slightly on edge, I clutched my blade and fell asleep. My eyes fixed on the dancing flames. Oh, my gaze fixed on the dancing flames. I succumbed to the weight of my eyelids, gradually slipping into dreams.
Yeah, Akira.
Tongue's voice rang in my ears. I slowly opened my eyes. Huh? Did 4 hours fly by already? Guess that short nap didn't do much. Honestly, I feel more worn out now. 4 hours already? I asked Tongue as I got up.
ああ、薪が2束燃えた。そろそろ2時間だ。
The lamb's okay?
おう、寝ている。
Tongue gestured at the nearby beds. Lambs rested by the fire, Kui-er and Hong-er together, Cheong-hwa and the mute girl on the separate beds. Ropes around their waist to keep them in place. Okay, I'll take the next shift. I nodded, gesturing to Tongue, and decided to stand up for a quick stretch to refresh myself. Tongue saw me stand up, and he found a bed and laid down. Damn immediate, bro. That was literally immediate. He dozed off fast, and soon enough, I heard her snoring. Now, it's just waiting for the sun to rise. Quite a chore. 4 hours of sleep daily for several dozen days. In this regard, those lambs probably had it better than us. On the way, they could sleep for 8 hours. Once we reach our destination, they could get sold to the fancy sheep. If luck was on their side and they were chosen, they might get adopted as daughters. Even if luck wasn't on their side, becoming servants or maids in these chaotic times was still better than being refugees and bandits like us, right? Think about it that way, this job might actually be a good deed. While lost in thought, a sudden noise caught my attention. I swiftly turned to see its origin. In the dancing firelight, a lamb rose to its feet. It's gonna be the mute one. It was little Mute. Why are you up? Dude, if you think she's mute, it's probably gonna be hard for them to respond. I asked little Mute coldly. No words. She couldn't. Hungry? I asked again. She responded. Her arm went up. She shook her head. Never mind. Need to pee? She nodded. Pee? I frowned. In the middle of the night. Such a bad habit. This is kind of annoying because, from Lang's POV, because they're all tied up to each other. So if one of them has to relieve themselves, it's gonna be hard to separate them from the group. She needs to pee, but it was tricky. The rope tied her to the other lambs, and going could disturb their sleep or even bother Tongue. Going nearby wouldn't be ideal either. It could get smelly, and if I let her once, she'd probably do it again next time. I guess, yeah, I was thinking, since she is the last one to be tied, I guess he could just untie her, supervise her while going to the bathroom, and then tie her back when she comes back. Alright, I'll untie you for now and lead you to the lakeside to pee. Just be good and don't do anything extra. I told little Mute coldly. She nodded obediently. Rustle. I moved behind her, carefully looking for the knots, and after a bit of effort, I finally undid the rope for her. Follow me. I went to the fire, grabbed an unburnt stick, lit it as a torch, and continued forward. Little Mute followed behind me. She kept a grip on my robe, following closely to stay on track. She kept stumbling onto my back, using it to stay steady. We walked over dry branches and fallen leaves, pushed aside the foliage blocking our way, and finally stepped onto soft soil. Oh, this lake is actually unusually beautiful. And it's going to be full of piss. We reached the lakeside. Tall reeds bordered the lake, and the ground was damp, and it seemed like a good spot to take care of business. Here's a good spot to go. I said to Little Mute, pointing to the nearby reeds. Little Mute nodded and went over. She crouched down, tried to untie her belt, and then stood up again. She looked at me, a bit embarrassed. Well, seemed like she's shy. She preferred some privacy. Oh, fair enough. She seemed smart. I respected her wishes. I turned around to give her some privacy. After a bit, I heard a rustling sound. She was undoing her skirt, doing it slowly, maybe a bit hesitant, perhaps worried that I might turn around and catch a glimpse. Thinking a lot for a 9-year-old. When I was 9, did I even care if people were around me if there were people around me when I peed? Oh, yeah, that might be true. Whoa, what was that sound? Oh, suddenly a chilly breeze swept over my neck. Ew, that sounds really creepy. Tap, tap. Quick, rhythmic footsteps came from behind. Someone was running right behind me. Little Mute. Huh? Oh, she's got a knife. I think that's like one of the banner arts for the game. Where did she even get that knife? I spun around and the shiny dagger flashed in the moonlight. In her hand, a small dagger glimmered, and she thrust it upwards, aiming at my throat. Her hair fluttered in the breeze. Beneath those strands, I saw a pair of eyes filled with deadly intent. Where did she get the dagger? Why does she want me dead? I mean, literally human trafficking, even though she volunteered. Ugh. My mind went blank, beads of sweat forming on my forehead. Her sudden attack caught me off guard. What do I do? Step back first. Neck tackle, I see. So this is the part that's gonna lead to a dead end or continuing. Alright. I guess first I'm gonna try step back because I like for Tsukihime, I wanna get the bad ends. Step back. Gotta dodge the dagger. In the moment of panic, without time to think, I stepped back to sharply avoid the dagger. But then, a problem. In my rush, I slipped on the wet ground by the lake. Unable to stand firm, my body suddenly lost balance, tilting backwards. Damn it! It's over! I cursed silently and fell backwards. Ugh. Thump. Plunge! Ugh. Two clear sounds. Me hitting the ground, and her dagger through my throat. I stared at her, my killer, Little Mute. She put all her strength into the dagger, splitting my throat completely. Couldn't see her expression under her hair, but those gritted teeth told me that she gave it her all. Must have used every ounce of strength to take me down. Blood gushed from my neck. Tried to break free, but with my throat like this, it was useless. Little Mute, why did she kill me? No answers. Death's grip spread, draining my strength and warmth. With questions unanswered, I slowly closed my eyes and sank towards death. Oh, okay. Never turn your back against a feline predator. Ending, killed by a cat. Ending, died halfway. Alright, cool. Alright. Well, if I load the game and okay, so it auto saves at the choice, so that's very good. I just needed to make sure. Alright, so I'm not too surprised that she tried to kill us. But yeah, I thought stepping back was gonna be bad. Neck tackle, go! An ordinary person might have died from her surprise attack, but I'm no ordinary person. My years of bloody experience kicked in. I stayed calm. I locked in, faced with a dagger. I didn't try to block my hands or hastily dodge. I quickly lowered my body, moved aside from the dagger, and then forcefully slammed into her. My charge threw her off balance, and her arms lifted. She missed the stab. The dagger pierced through air. Relieved, I pressed on, pouncing like a wolf on its prey, and shoved her into the reeds by the lake. Oh, dang. Okay, so this is the second chance I have a good look at what the main character looks like, because we see it in the title screen, but he's got scars all over, he's got wraps on his arms. He's honestly a little bit disheveled. He has a knot here, so he has like a ponytail. Alright, okay. I pinned her down. Right leg on her belly, left leg on her arm. Oh, okay, yes, definitely pinned. Right hand gripped her dagger hand, left hand squeezed her throat. After a failed stab, the dagger slipped from her hand. The instant she struggled to snatch it back, I promptly pressed down on her hand. Now, she was completely under my control, unable to move. What the hell? What are you playing at? I glared at her, my eyes fierce like a wild wolf, growling at her with a low voice. Meanwhile, I pressed down even harder on her, pulling her arm with increased force, almost crushing her thin forearm. Oh, she makes noises. She could hardly bear it when I suddenly pinched her arm and pressed all my weight on her. In particular, her right hand was probably hurt by my knee. Oh, right. I was like, but this is her right, no, this is her right hand right here. And yeah, his knee is pinning it down. And the bone might be broken. Plop. The short dagger slipped from her hand and fell to the ground. Right after that, something I could never expect happened. She's gonna talk.
痛い痛いお願い許して
With slightly red, teary eyes, she begged as she cried. Little mute, she actually spoke. Lang Chapter 3, Swine Demon. Okay, Swine Demon. One thing I do appreciate is that when I go to the next chapter, I don't get spoiled with an image like in Tsukihime. Okay, so we have a potential another dead end here. So I guess there are just a lot of dead ends, but like most of it is gonna be like, wait, achieve any ending except for died halfway. Oh, okay, so we get an extra ending for that. Interesting. I'm kind of curious about how this is gonna progress. Here it's like finish and reach medium affinity, high affinity, maximum affinity. So there are definitely some things that I don't quite understand at the moment. But okay. How come you're talking? You're not mute? I stared blankly at little mute pinned beneath me. She actually talked. Tears in her eyes, face red, struggling for breath under my weight. So, okay, just making sure. Leg pinned on her arm, body, I guess his right knee is on her body, so she could probably move her legs, but they wouldn't do anything because she's got caught in a guard. Or in mount, basically. I thought this little thing was a finger. I'm like, no, that doesn't seem right. It's a tear in her arm, in her cloth. And yeah. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Even so, a moment ago, she begged for mercy, each word crystal clear. Did being frightened by me make her suddenly be able to speak? No way. Never heard of a mute being cured. This girl must have had some sinister plan from the start, faking being mute to catch others off guard. Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah. Spill it. Why the mute act? Where did you even get that dagger? I snapped at her, eyeing the dagger that slipped from her hand.
亮様苦しくて話せない
She kept begging for mercy. It's like, damn, talk. It's like, I can't talk. So I feel like they need to mention that more in media because it's like, yeah, I can't fucking talk even if you're asking me. I glanced at her and sighed. Grabbed the dagger that she dropped. My left hand held her arm, the dagger against her neck in my right. I rose, eyes fixed on her, pulling her up from the ground.
痛い足が折れて立ち上がれない
Well, now that she's speaking, I can say who her voice actress is. She's Kugimiya Rie, who is known to be the queen of tsunderes from basically the 2000s. I don't think she really does tsundere positions that much anymore. But yeah, she's very big. Very big. She got up, wobbling a bit before finding her footing, like a newborn deer learning to walk. Spill it, brat. Why the mute act? Why the hell did you play mute? I kept my gaze fixed on her, each word sharp and deliberate. At the same time, I pressed the dagger closer to her neck. I was still steaming from her failed sneak attack. This brat was definitely aiming to finish me off just now. Yep, you died in another route. If she didn't explain, I might actually cut her throat.
殺さないで、全部言います。
Oh, I can really hear it now.
口が聞けないふりをしてたのは、インさんにバレないようにするためです。インさんは人飼いなので、いろいろ聞かれて疑われたら困るから、口が聞けないふりをしたまで。
That makes a lot of sense. What are you scared? Oh, why? What are you scared he'd figure out? Oh, wait. What are you scared? Should there be like a comm here? What are you scared he'd figure out?
トンヨを殺すためには、疑われるわけにいかない。
I aimed to off the swine demon. Couldn't risk his suspicions. That is the name of the chapter. Swine demon. Swine demon? She looked down, and the mention of that term just made me more puzzled. What's a swine demon? Why is she bringing it up all of a sudden?
リョウ様、実はインさんはあなたとコウ様を騙しました。あなたたちは私たちを金持ちの家に送るのではなく、トンヨウのところへ送ることで祭人にされてしまうのです。
Interesting. So they're saying that we weren't delivering people to rich families. They were going to basically offer them as sacrifices to whatever this demon thing is. Now, it raises two questions. One is if Lang buys it, does this change his mind on human trafficking? Because he thought that at the very least, he was sending these kids off to a place where they could survive, which, you know, the swine demon would not be it. And if he, you know, does not believe in this thing, I mean, it doesn't change anything then. he'll just know that he'll just think that this girl is cray cray, and it won't really amount to much. I mean, her role will be like diminished a lot, so.
私たちが落葉に着いたら、トンヨウに食べられてしまうの。
She urgently spoke with a teary tone, and I was caught off guard. Tung and I were taking these lambs to become lamb dishes. Man, they really love the animal imagery. I know the meaning of lamb dishes. It meant people who would be eaten. Oh, there is cannibalism. What the fuck? I remember hearing the term the first time I was young, back in the peaceful era, and it gave me chills. But in recent years, there was a famine in Shan. Heard in some hard-hit areas, folks were selling kids for food. Some even sold concubines for cash, dissecting them to hawk their organs. Sounds brutal, but it doesn't seem made up. The lambs I'm sending are actually going to end up as some swine demon's lamb dishes?
落葉城にはトンヨウがいて、1000斤もの重さがあり、人肉を好んで食べます。
1,000 pounds? Damn, I have the taste of human flesh.
1000年修行を積んで人間の姿になった。見た目は落葉で一番の金持ちだけど、実は悪の限りを尽くす大妖怪なのです。
Oh, they're calling it a yokai now, so like a demon. I mean, I guess people in this age would actually believe in that stuff. I wonder if this is actually going to be real in game, because, you know, it's a work of fiction. So,
私たち家族は落葉の近くに住んでいました。父はトンヨウに雇われた小作農です。ある時あいつが家に来て、姉さんを気に入ったようだった。それで父に妾として引き取るって言った。
If that is true for her backstory, then it does give her words some credence, because she voluntarily offered herself up to become a slave. But she probably did this in order to kill the demon. Otherwise, there's no reason to offer herself up, unless it's, you know, like the famine stuff.
父はあいつを恐れて言う通りにした。それから間もなく、姉さんは行方不明になった。その後、父が姉さんについて聞くと、あいつらは姉さんが盗みを働いて逃げたきりだと言った。姉さんが盗みを働くなんて信じられない。 私は一日中泣いて姉さんに会いたいとわめいた。ある日、姉さんが夢に出てきて、トンヨンに食われたと私に話しかけてきた。私に復讐してほしいと。トンヨンはますます貪欲になって、女だけでなく子供まで食らうようになるって。
So she doesn't really have any basis other than her dreams. That's concerning.
他にも、トンヨンが歌手のインさんから食べる子供を飼っていると姉さんは言った。うまくいけば復讐できると。
She said something about urged me to find a chance for revenge. I mean, the thing is, Yin-san and Hong, she got a lot of details she otherwise would not know about via her dream. So maybe in universe this is actually real. I listened silently to her tale, pondering for a moment. Not convincing. What she said about the lamb dishes was morally despicable, even for a bandit like me. And all of this planned by a swine demon with 1,000 years of cultivation. Her knowledge coming from her dreams her sister sent her. Certainly hard to buy into. You acted mute, let Yin-san take you, just to get close to the swine demon? I asked, ice in my voice. Little Mute nodded. You think I'll believe your nonsense? Swine demon eating people? Sister sending dreams? Don't bullshit me. Don't get how a kid like you comes up with so many lies. If you really want to off the swine demon, why lay your hands on me just now? If I die, who's gonna take you to meet the swine demon? How are you gonna avenge your sister? He's kinda got a point. Or is she gonna be like, I was testing you because I needed help. Ignoring the mystical talk about the swine demon eating people and her sister sending dreams, as I spoke, I quickly spotted the holes in her story. While her tale could explain her choice to act mute and carry a dagger, it couldn't justify why she attacked me earlier. That is also true. Her reasoning just didn't add up. If I died, who's gonna escort her off to the swine demon? Sure enough, the little mute went silent, unable to answer my questions. She lowered her head and stopped talking. Seeing her go silent, my suspicions deepened, and I began questioning the truth behind her words. What now? Should I end this lying brat, or wake up tongue and figure out how to handle her? I pondered, biting my lip, when suddenly I caught the sight of a bean-sized tear rolling down her face, resembling a snapped string of pearls.
だって私怖くて。コウ様が言ったでしょ。言うこと聞かないと皮を剥がして食ってやるって。あなたたちもトンヨウだと思った。
God damn it.
それで怖くなって、さっきも悪夢を。
Tongue, why'd you have to do that? Why?
ドスを腰巻きの中に隠していたんです。両様は私が用を足すのを見て、脱いだらきっとドスがバレてしまう。両様が今度は背中を向けて見てないけど、でも次に見たらきっとトンヨウになって私を食べるでしょう。
I don't get it, Peak. Is she saying if she shows... I don't really get it. If she shows enough skin, the swine demons will turn into her demon form and eat them?
怖くて、どうすればいいかわからなくて、ふと両様を殺そうと思った。両様、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。もう二度としません。
Little Mute wiped her tears, crying off and on. While crying, she kept saying sorry to me. She cried, gasping for air, body shaking. She looked really scared, asking me to forgive her. But I still wanted to see. You got it, right? Since you got a dagger, no matter what you say, I'll still be suspicious. On top of that, you tried to stab me with that dagger, so I should kill you no matter what you say. I snarled quietly, seizing her dagger, lifting my hand, mimicking a move I was about to stab her.
やめて、殺さないで。もうしません。しないから。
I'm gonna kill you!
助けて、りょう様。大きくなったら私がお金を稼いであげる。ただで飲み食いさせてあげる。ほくろを立ててあげる。金の像を作ってあげる。お願い、許して。
This game is making me feel real bad. She shook in fear, legs giving away, crying with watery eyes and a snotty face, talking nonsense. Terrified, she tried to flee, falling like a scared piglet, kicking her legs while letting out a chilling, non-stop wail. If I hadn't held her, she'd have hit the ground. The night was too dark to see clearly, but her terrified state suggests that she might wet herself if I push any further. It made sense. Seeing her like this, I felt a bit at ease. She had been too mature before. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know how people her age acted in this time period, but I expected her to act more like the other 9-year-olds in the group. Like Hong-er or Xiong... I forgot the name. Jinghua, I think? She had been too mature before, and with her smooth talk earlier, it had me on edge. Now she genuinely seemed scared, showing me the age-appropriate tears. Considering her clumsy dagger move, she didn't seem skilled. Unless I tripped just now, which would never happen, she couldn't have killed me. After some thought, I eased up on my guard. At the same time, any thoughts of killing her vanished. Get up. I sheathed the dagger and put her to her feet. She glanced at me, fear lingering, surprised I spared her suddenly, still sobbing softly. I'll let you live this time, not killing you for now.
ありがとうございます。りょう様は妖怪じゃなくて善人だと信じてた。
I'm no good guy. Tonight, I can't pretend nothing happened. I went cold-faced. After my words, little Mute, who had relaxed a little bit after narrowly escaping, immediately stiffened, her expression freezing. Face away from me. I coldly commanded little Mute. She obeyed, stiffly turning her body around.
りょう様、どうするつもりですか？
I'm punishing
お
you.
仕置き？
Lashes? Take off your skirt, and you'll see. Take it off! Didn't you hear me? I barked at her, the sudden loudness causing her body to jolt.
私、脱ぎたくないです。
If you don't, I'll kill you.
何するのです？
This is really uncomfortable, man. Her voice quivered, filled with reluctance. I was puzzled, a sudden wave of irritation hitting me. Why was this brat being so difficult? I said I wouldn't kill her, and she wouldn't even take a simple punishment. Is she trying to challenge me? With that in mind, I decided to go and forcibly remove her skirt. And then she said something that left me stunned.
りょう様、法を破ってはダメ。
It's illegal.
父が言ってた。12歳以下の幼女にいたずらしたら死刑だって。
I think what he's trying to do is smack her tushy like in a punishment way, not in a sexual way. You know, like literally spank people.
私はまだ12じゃない。りょう様、考え直してください。
You know, the Asian parent way. I froze, and the attempt to remove her skirt came to a sudden halt. I didn't anticipate this brat having such ideas. I told her to turn around and remove her skirt, intending to give her corporal punishment. I wanted to cut a piece of the reed and spank her bottom a few times, leaving 3 red marks. But I didn't really expect this little troublemaker thought I was after something intimate. In that moment, my thoughts felt childlike, while she appeared mature. It gave me a strange sense of reversal, making my already irritated mood turn awkward, chaotic, and even more displeased. How should I handle this to teach her a lesson? Let's see. Cut the chatter and just hit her. I wonder what happens. Just go with it. Just go for it without overthinking. Charge ahead. Spank. I don't want to explain anything to her anymore. No more words. Just spank. Whoosh! I took the dagger she just used, sliced the switch from the lakeside reed. As I made the cut, she flinched, eyes shut. Afterwards, I measured the reed's length with my hand, assessing its thickness. Perfect. This reed switch was perfect for spanking her.
様、何をするんですか?
Corporal punishment. Doing what? Of course, it's for spanking your butt. Where did your mind wander off to just now? Time for punishment, a solid one.
お尻を叩くですか? わかりました。でも、痛くしないでくれませんか?
Take off her skirt, or should I do it?
自分で脱ぎます。
Little Mute hurried forward, reached for the sides of the skirt, swiftly used her fingers to untie the knot and remove them. The dim light, coupled with all the tall reeds, obscured the details from my view. Then I heard the soft rustle of clothes hitting the ground and vaguely saw her exposed skin in the shadows. It seemed that she did take off her skirt, revealing her bottom.
りょう様、脱いだわ。優しく叩いてくれませんか?
Nope! I didn't bother talking more with her. Everything's set. It's time to get started. I raised my hand, lifted the reed switch, and gave her bottom a firm smack. Smack!
そのまま叩くの?
Smack!
もうしません。りょう様、しないから、もうやめてください。
This is Asian parenting. Go! Smack! She wiped her tear-stained face, pulled up her skirt, and retied the knot. I gave her 3 strikes. The child's skin is delicate, and she appeared frail, offering little resistance. To avoid causing harm to her muscles and affecting her ability to walk for the next few days, I restrained my force. Still, I was certain that it would leave 3 red marks. Your life spared for now. I'll keep tonight's events a secret for you. If Tongue caught wind of it, he might devour you alive. I'll be watching you closely on this journey. If you try anything again, I'll kill you, breaking my rule of sparing children. On the way back, she limped, feeling the sting from punishment. As she walked ahead, I lectured her from behind. At the same time, I asked her some questions. The more I think about it, the less you seem like a 9-year-old. How old are you exactly?
11歳。典型元年生まれ。鳥年。
She's like, still within the years of the law. Don't do it. Don't do it, Ling. Oh, you seem small for a 9-year-old. Oh, you seem small like a 9-year-old.
あまり食べないから背が伸びない。
What's your name?
満水。
Mansui. Okay. She paused for a moment and then uttered 2 words. How do you write it? Is it gonna have that character like on? I think it might.
書けない。水は糖水の水だってことは知ってる。
Your parents truly worked as tenant farmers?
ほんと。落葉に着いたら調べてもいい。
What if those words were false?
嘘があったら家族全員ろくな死に方をしない。
I'll check your story as we travel. No need for oaths. I hate being lied to. If you lie to me, I'll kill you and your whole family. I warned her coldly. After hearing the threat of killing her whole family, she shivered and fell silent. She might have been scared, or just been worn out from the crying and yelling earlier. In either case, she walked in front of me in silence, not paying me any more heed. Moonlight stretched her shadow as she moved through the mountainous area, woods. From behind, she appeared slender and solitary, akin to a young lone animal. Mansui. Sui, as in the wheat ear. I silently repeated her name. This name echoed with the hope of a farming family. Like the wish for fields to be lush with golden wheat ears. Ah, that's why this little thing for progressing the dialogue is a wheat. Suddenly, a series of scenes surged into my mind. It was as if I could see a vast wheat field. The endless field bathed in sunlight, wheat ears linked together like a golden lake. A strong wind stirred, creating ripplings on the lake, forming waves. Her family held her hand, running amidst these waves. She laughed and fell into the golden sea, smiling joyfully. Ah, sweet prologue, home. I see. So it seems like we're gonna get a flashback now. Where in the flowchart are we? We're here. Okay. I guess we go down and then later we'll loop here because I don't think this is supposed to be like an ending, you know? Okay, I think I'm gonna end it here for today. This has gone on for like an hour and a half, so I think that's a good portion. I don't really know what to think so far. It's been, I guess it's because, you know, the values in 1600s China is very different than the values we have today, but the beginning part made me feel very uncomfortable, but it's also very understandable given the time period. It does seem like it's starting to go somewhere with, you know, Ling slowly maybe trying to understand Mansui a little bit, and I honestly not too much has happened. We're just kind of, you know, delivering these children to, I guess, a potential rich person or a potential monster, so it's hard to really say. Though I'm sure, like, although I'm not like extremely gripped by the game so far, it definitely has the potential to. So I'm just kind of waiting for that to happen. But so far, I am pretty intrigued. A little bit like, as I said, uncomfortable, but still intrigued. So I'll look forward to continuing. And once again, the game isn't too long. I mean, currently, I'm 8.75 through the game, and that's for like complete completion. So this game is probably not going to take too long. But yeah, well, I don't know how many people will actually watch this because this game is I don't think it's actually very what's the right word, known to people. So if this interests you, let me know. If you played this already, also let me know and what you thought about the game without spoilers, please. But yeah, this is gonna be a very different experience for me, and hopefully the people watching this too. And I hope you enjoy this. But we'll continue with the story next time. And until then, I will be seeing you. See ya!